Bezrat Hashem, tonight we're going to be counting the 18th day of the Omer, which the Sphira is Netzach Shebatiferet. The last couple of days we were explaining that Tiferet is beauty, and Netzach, that's an enigma to start explaining Netzach. You can interpret it as victory, Nitzachon, and you can interpret it in many other ways. Today we're going to choose to interpret it as eternal, what comes from the word in Hebrew, Netzach. Netzach is nitzchi, something that is eternal. And again, the words in Hebrew can be easily changed and expressed in a different way. And there are many ways to approach it. And by the way, the classes that we have here now, this is not the only way to look at the approach of Sfirat Omer. Last year we had another series of Sfirat Omer, and we were talking about other things. But nevertheless, you can choose how you are approaching the Sphira of the day. So Tiferet, we're going to stay with Tiferet being beauty. And Netzach means eternal, so we're looking here at eternal beauty. And the word Tiferet also can be explained as beauty. And real beauty, not fake beauty. Fake beauty wears off very quickly. Real beauty, it stays forever. Something that is really, really beautiful. And it doesn't have to be something physical. It can be something emotional, spiritual. But real beauty will last forever. And you know, the Netzach here, yesterday we spoke about Tiferet Shebatiferet. And we explained it that it's the beauty of truth and the truth of beauty. Right? We explained that Tiferet is also Emet. And we quoted the verse, Titen Emet leYaakov. We know that Yaakov is Midat Tiferet. It was also Midat Emet. So we know Tiferet is also Emet. And we were trying to find the connection between one and the other. The Netzach, it's another attribute that will connect beauty and truth. They always go together. Now, when you want to think of what is one of the most, I can't say the most, because that will already be difference of opinions, but one of the most beautiful things that somebody can do in this world. If we will now quickly make a survey, what would you say would be the most beautiful thing in this world that one can do? And I think, and to many others, it would be doing a nice act, a good act, an act of kindness. And, excuse me?
Saving a life.
That's an act of kindness.
Yeah.
Saving a life, and needless to say, saving a life, that's amazing. But to title it, I would say a good deed. Good deeds, it's hard to find. Not everybody is jumping on doing good deeds. I think, that's my opinion, I think many will agree with me, that one of the most nicest, one of the most beautiful things to do in this world is a good deed. And, you know, we just learned about it today. We learned about it many times, but in the morning we learned about a Mishnah that if you're familiar with Pirkei Avot, now we also learned the halakha this morning that many congregations, they have the custom of throughout the summer to learn Pirkei Avot. Some do it every day, some do it once a week. So some congregations, they learn Pirkei Avot every day in the summer between Mincha and Arvit. We learn Zohar, other congregations learn Pirkei Avot. In Pirkei Avot, there's a very simple Mishnah that says mitzvah goreret mitzvah. A mitzvah will drag after it another mitzvah. And this is on the positive side. On the negative side, avera goreret avera. You apply yourself to do a sin, then the sin will drag you to do another sin. When you do a good deed, a good action, then it right away will cause you and pull you to do another good action. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah. And very interestingly, when I do something positive, it comes from a certain power that I have in my soul that is called koach haholada, the power of birthing something. God gave us a certain power that we can birth something. Now, I'm not talking about now a woman that can birth a child. That's mamash, taking this power and applying it in a very profound way. But we all have the power, the birthing power. Because when I do something good, it will birth another good and another good, like a ripple effect. There's a video running around the internet that one person does a good deed to this individual, and then this individual does a good deed to this individual, and you see like the chain reaction, how, you know, a good deed, something positive will start creating a ripple effect of good deeds. So the power of birthing something, this is a fraction of what's called Ein Sof, of something eternal, of the power, of the eternal power of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It doesn't end. And real beauty will sustain forever. So if I'm taking my question and asking, what do you think is one of the most beautiful things to do in this world, is to do a good deed, which means that this good deed, the beauty of it will stand forever. The mitzvah, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you are, where you come from. If a person did a mitzvah, this mitzvah will stand forever. You can't delete a mitzvah. I heard somebody once told me a long time ago, a very beautiful way of looking at it, and he says, from a sin you can divorce, but from a mitzvah you can't. You can't get rid of a mitzvah. If chas v'shalom you did a sin, okay, you'll do tshuva, Hashem will forgive you. But a mitzvah, you can't come to Hashem and says, you know what, this morning when I put tefillin on, erase it. I don't want it on my record. What do you mean you don't want it in the record? You already did it. This mitzvah will stand there forever. Forever and ever. I know it sounds like a childish way to say forever and ever, but it will stand there forever, for eternity. So a good deed always will stand there forever. How I look at a good deed? I look at a good deed as something beautiful, something nice, something that is you take out of yourself and you do something for another person. This is a beautiful act. When we're looking at Netzach Shebatiferet, which would be the eternity or the eternal beauty, you're looking here at an eternal rebirth of something. What do I mean? Take a stone, throw it now in the water, it will start doing a ripple wave, right? So you do a good deed, it does the exact same thing, because it starts growing and birthing more good deeds and more good deeds and more good deeds. But you know why? Because if I help you now, you're so impressed and overwhelmed and shocked, then the next time that somebody asks you, you're like, you know what, so-and-so helped me, I should help that person. So your good deed, it starts making these ripple effects of good deeds in this world. And this is the Netzach Shebatiferet. It's the eternity, because something beautiful will birth something, constantly will birth more and more and more. And like I said, something bad you can cut. Something good, it will continue. This is called Hitchadshut, rebirth or renewity, but for eternity. This is really the Netzach Shebatiferet, the eternity of something that is beautiful. Now, when something is beautiful, it has in it a certain power, and this power is called Nitzchiyut. Now, unfortunately, I didn't find a good word in English. Maybe you can help me. The words that I found in English is either to perpetuate, but I believe that perpetuate is for something that is not so great. And correct me if I'm wrong. Or to preserve something. But both these two words don't do justice to the word in Hebrew, nitzchiyut. Nitzchiyut is something that will remain for eternity, minimum in the same level how it was when it started. And needless to say, because of the ripple effect, can grow and grow like an echo. So the power of beauty is to, I'll use the words that I don't really like, preserve the beauty, but for eternity, which means that every moment that passes, I still have a remaining of that beautiful thing. Getting to the depth of my mind, what I'm trying to give over, this is the Netzach Shebatiferet. Now, where do we really learn everything that I'm saying now? You want to just summarize it? I mean, everything that we learn has to be sourced one way or another. When I was a student, I'm still a student. Don't think that I majored. But when I was a student in front of my teacher, then everything that I was hearing, I said, where is it sourced? Where are you bringing this from? Are you just inventing a new theory? So somebody not too long ago tried to maybe insult me or to put me down. So he told, I don't like what you teach because you teach other people's stuff. What else am I going to teach? Am I going to teach my own new theories? You're right, I do teach the teachings of the Ari Kadosh, or the Bala Sulam, or Rabbi Nachman from Breslov, or Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. You think I invented something? You're right, I do teach other people's stuff. I can come up with my own new theories. I can give you my own analogy. I can give you my parables or my way of looking at it. Of course I have to teach somebody else's stuff. So I like to always see what's the source for something. Yesterday we brought up some new information that Mashiach will appear in Tveria. Okay, I want to see where is it said. If you're throwing out there something to the air, let me see what the sources say. Because you know what? Many people, they go to the sources and they totally distort what the source is saying. they read it the wrong way, they come up with their own theory. So everything needs to be sourced. Everything that I'm saying now is sourced in one verse in the book of Mishlei, or how you call it in English, in Proverbs. This can be found in chapter 12, verse 9, where it says in Hebrew, Sfat emet tikon la'ad. The language of truth will stand forever. My translation is not an Oxford translation. The translation that I found is a true tongue will it says established, I don't know if forever. But nevertheless, in other words, Shlomo HaMelech says in Mishlei that Sfat Emet, something that is truth, Tikon La'ad. It will stand there forever. And we said that Emet is Tiferet, Emet is beauty, must be, that anything that is beautiful, everything that is Emet, Tikon La'ad. If Shlomo HaMelech says, I count on him. I understand that anything that is beauty in this world will remain forever. I see beauty not in a Ferrari. I do see beauty in Ferraris, don't get me wrong. But, listen, everybody has a Yetzer Hara for something. But a good deed that is done from the depth of your heart, that's beauty. That's true beauty. And okay, you can disagree, you don't have to follow what I say. I'm just saying that for me, a good deed, that's the ultimate beauty, what a person can do in this world. The Baal HaTanya says that a person can come down to this world for 80 years to live his life, to do one good deed for one person, to bump into him in the middle of his life, do an act of chesed, the act of kindness, finish. That's why you came down to the world. So, how do I take the beauty that I have in me in order for it to be fruitful? Hashem gave me powers, Hashem gave me talents, Hashem gave me abilities. Now it has to be fruitful. In the beginning of the Torah, the Kadosh Baruch Hu commanded Adam and Chava that you should be fruitful. Doesn't necessarily only mean to have children. My actions should be fruitful. If I do an act of kindness, it's not only to help a certain individual, it's to create fruit. And if you're looking at the system of trees, the trees will drop the fruit on the floor, the fruit will rot, their seeds will go out of the fruit that just rotted, go into the ground, rot themselves, replenish, resprout, and then you have another tree, and another tree, and more fruit, and more fruit, and more fruit. This is what my actions need to do. If I do certain actions, you know, a lot of the actions that I do, as a father, I'm saying that, is for my kids to see. That they should see what their father is doing, and this will be already registered in their back of their mind, in their subconscious. Oh, my father used to do that. My father used to do that. That's why I told you so many times that lying to a child or lying in front of a child, you destroy this individual for eternity. Because the child gets confused. What's going on? My father is not telling the truth. And I believe that a lot of problems that people have with their emunah is because their parents lied to them a lot, or that they saw that their parents are lying. It totally throws off the child to a total different direction. And I'll give you one example out of many. Sometimes, and I'm not judging anybody, chas v'shalom, but sometimes, you know, you hear that knock in the middle of the night, suddenly everybody, who's at the door? Somebody at the door. And you look, oh no, it's the guy that's asking for money. I'm not home. I'm not home. Now the 4-year-old doesn't understand what's going on, but you are home. Shh, I'm not home. Telling I'm not home. My father told me to tell you he's not home. What are you doing? Shh. Now the child is confused. This poor man is asking for money. You have money. I saw you have money in your pocket. The child doesn't know what's your financial status. He sees a few coins on your table. Now the child's, wait a minute, my father's not helping this guy. That's not nice. So as a father, and you can apply to your own life, a lot of the actions that I do, not that I don't want to do it, but I know that there are eyes looking at me. Oh, let me do this certain act because these eyes that are looking at me will incorporate it and they will do good things. That's how my actions bring fruit. That I do something and it starts affecting everybody around me. So, the party started. So how do I take this beauty inside of me and I create fruit with it? Only with good deeds. Only with ma'asim tovim. You interpret it however you want. For one person is to save a life. For another person is to feed somebody hungry. For another person is to give support, emotional support to a person who's upset. Doesn't matter. An act of kindness is an act of kindness. What's interesting to see here, that everything always has to fall in the right place. An act of kindness, in Hebrew it's called ma'aseh tov. Ma'aseh means act, kindness, or kindness can be translated in different words, but in Hebrew you say ma'aseh tov. Tov is in Hebrew good, but it's also in Hebrew yafeh, beauty. And we said already, tiferet is beauty. Where do we see that beauty is corresponding to the word tov? Right in the beginning of the Torah. Vayar Hashem ki tov. Hashem saw that the light that He created the world, He saw it's a good light. It's a beauty light. We're learning now this in the Zohar. This light was beautiful. So we see that beauty is also good in the eyes of the Torah. Vayar Hashem ki tov. So a good deed, a good action, it's not only that it's good, it also shines and lights. You light up the world. You do an act of kindness, you shine up the world. So practically saying, that we want to apply something from what we learn, is I have to first of all acknowledge and understand and admit the power of my good deeds. And even something very, very small. Even if it's sometimes putting a quarter in a charity box. Or just smiling to a person. Sometimes a person has a bad day. All it takes is for you to say, how are you? Are you okay? You change the person's life. So first we have to acknowledge how powerful our little acts are. Don't negate small acts. Don't override them. But really, what we want to do to apply it is make sure that your entire day is full of good deeds. I once gave a lecture and I was talking about specifically about good deeds. But I said, don't go to sleep if you didn't do 5 acts of kindness that day. And a lot of people looked at me like, 5 acts of kindness? If I get to squeeze in one, I'll be lucky. Now I take back what I said. It should be 50 acts of kindness a day. If you didn't do a few acts of kindness today, don't go to sleep. Go run to the street and help somebody. So, not talking right now that any second Mashiach is coming and really what we need is Torah and mitzvot and ma'asim tovim. Right? That's what the tractate Sanhedrin says in the Talmud. A person wants to survive the war of Gog and Magog. Ya'asok beTorah, will learn Torah, u'gmilut chasadim, and acts of kindness. So we need to take from that I need to constantly apply acts of kindness. I don't need a lot of money for that. I don't need much. I need to take my time and to help as many people as I can. And it's not writing checks. Writing checks is very nice. But me now sitting with somebody for 5 minutes, maybe that's my act of kindness. Smiling to somebody, acknowledging somebody's feelings, helping, whatever it is. You use your own imagination, but what I want you to do as homework, and if you want to get this ripple effect, is that you constantly throw out to the universe ma'asim tovim. Why? Because this will stand forever. Nobody will take your good deeds away. And you know what? We also have some bad things on our record, but a little bit of light diminishes a lot of darkness. So listen, we're not angels, we're human. We have our fair share. Now we're going to go now to the Zohar class. We're talking about what happens when we die. Hashem Merachem. Yesterday we were explaining Malach HaMavet is standing there with a sword and dismantling now the elements in your neshama and it falls apart. Oh, wait a minute. At least do some good deeds. Right? This will stand for you forever. Ma'asim tovim. B'ezrat Hashem, we want to take the Ma'asim Tovim, which is the Tiferet, take the Netzach of Tiferet, the beauty of it, that it should remain for eternity. And needless to say that when we want to hasten the coming of Mashiach, is only by Ma'asim Tovim. We have to increase in acts of kindness, acts of mercy, acts of love. And again, doesn't need to involve money here. It needs to involve a good heart. And B'ezrat Hashem, we should constantly increase in acts of kindness, and these acts of kindness should stand for us for Netzach Netzachim, for eternity, or as they say in the fairy tales, forever and ever.